Why don't you pull that on me? I'll roll in the sand, and then I will stand perfectly still like a mime. He picks up one of his chains and puts one around his arm and puts the other around Oberon and goes, "You ain't going anywhere away from me then."
The ones that are chained to the wall.
They're locked to the wall.
Oh, are they?
Welcome,
Hello.
welcome to our definitely live streamed thing. So we are going to be starting our first episode of what we're calling Tavern Talks, which is basically a D&D chat show kind of thing, where we talk about the characters of the Tiberian campaign, other stuff as part of the campaign, and just G&D in general. Now today we are going to be starting with Callum, or as you guys will know him, Hamish. We're just going to explore his character a little bit. It's gonna be very chill. So before we get into that, I hope everybody's having a fantastic week and you're staying safe. A couple of quick announcements. We have now got a Twitter, which is at Goblins Hollow SL. So
LS.
LS. Jesus. At Goblins Hollow LS.
So
short
close.
for- I should know it. It stands for live stream. Like, I should know what that means. We also have an Instagram, Goblins Hollow YT, short for YouTube. So go check those out. Follow us there and have a look at some of the cool things we'll be posting up there. If you want to get notified when we go live or pre-record stuff and post it live, don't forget to follow. And you can always subscribe to the channel as well because we're that awesome. So
Yeah.
we'll go with that. So welcome everybody. I hope you enjoy our first Tavern Talks, and we will tell you who will be joining us for that week's Tavern Talk on the Tuesday when we see you. So I say we get straight into it.
Go for it.
So welcome to Tavern Talks, Callum. Thank you for being here
Thank
with
you
us.
very much. That's all right. Anytime.
So I just want to start, how did you get into D&D? What age and what edition did you start with? What really sort of brought you into the world of RPGs?
Well, I've always been into sort of like that fantasy genre. I suppose early age. I'm 31 now, by the way. I'm just going to reveal my age just live right now. And I guess it started with like Final Fantasy and Elder Scrolls, things like that. I remember a game actually when I was playing PlayStation 1. Yes, I'm that old. And it was a game called Dragon Valor. If anyone knows that game, then please, put it in chat or whatever, because it's a rare gem where you like travel through different eras and slay dragons. And I guess that's the sort of first point where I thought slaying dragons is pretty awesome. So, but I've got to be honest, it wasn't until probably 2 or 3 years ago where I started giving D&D a go. And my first edition was the latest one, 5e. I have not played a D&D prior to that. I used to meet up with friends and stuff and play board games. We did it like a regular thing. And, there'd be like fantasy genre type things going on, but never really D&D. It rarely came up until one day we got it out and we started playing it. And we'd had pre-made characters for us by the DM, who it was his first time as well. So, shout out to who you are, who just decided to go straight in and be a DM without even playing Dungeons and Dragons before. And and I just fell in love with it. And with that sort of the fantasy thing, especially coming from like Final Fantasy and things like that, that's more of a like a tactical combat sort of thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't really too much of that sort of acting, role playing sort of thing. so that was the combat thing was kind of what I expected it to be, and what I expected to be my favorite thing about it.
So how did
And
you
it
sort of get
was,
into the role playing aspect then? Because when I was talking to you before,
well,
you were
that's it.
saying that role play was one of your favorite
Yeah,
parts, right?
yeah, exactly, and that's the bit that took me by surprise because I didn't expect. I expected to be quite reserved with that sort of thing. It ended up after a couple goes at it, like that being the thing that I enjoyed the most, and it wasn't so much the combat. Look, I enjoy the
Yeah.
combat as well, but the whole role playing thing, and people who've watched the campaign so far in Tiberian, it's you could. I hope it comes across how much I enjoy doing that sort of um,
Hello.
uh, role playing.
It's ordered and it should be here within the next hour.
Okay,
Hi.
guys, this is my sister.
Hi,
This is
hello.
Caitlin. She's the one that's buying me stuff.
The annoying one.
Okay, oh, you go then.
Okay, bye. Oh, do you know who it is?
See you. Nice to meet you.
Not a clue.
Oh, okay.
Check in the conservatory. I'm sorry about that. My sister likes to
That's,
come in.
that's all right. I mean, that's the joys. That's fine. It's the joys of working from home and all of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully in
It's
about a
fu-
month
yeah.
I won't have that.
Yeah. I mean, there are good and bad things from playing D&D and streaming and stuff from home, and that can be filed under whichever one you want. Really, it could be funny and annoying, but yeah, that's fine. That's no problem. I can't remember where I was.
Role playing.
Role playing, yes,
Yeah.
I love it. And like I say, I hope it comes across that that's the sort of thing that I like to do, because I really do enjoy it. I love it. Every week I look forward to doing it. And I guess what got me into it then, yeah, it was just a natural progression really from the days of playing Final Fantasy and going up to this point really.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we've got a good group here for role players. Everybody seems to be getting really into character. It seems like you guys mesh quite well as well, with your characters and as players. So I think we got really lucky with the people that we ended up playing with.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree, and that's the beautiful thing about D&D, especially, like, other than any other game, is that it genuinely brings people together. Like, you've all got a common interest, and you throw yourself into it, and that's what I found, and that's when I fell in love with it, basically. And, it's introduced me to you and the others as well, and other people as well.
Yeah.
And it's just a great community. It genuinely is, and I know that's cheesy, but it actually is. It is just awesome. Like, everyone helps each other out. Everyone's really welcoming. It's very, very few bad eggs, I find, unless I just haven't experienced that yet. I don't know.
There's been a couple, but they get kicked out fairly quickly.
Yeah, and yeah, it's really, that's the thing. I really, and I will say one thing, right? I will say one thing, and it's quite a personal thing as well. I'm just going to say it, right?
Say it.
Is I've got quite bad OCD. Not a lot of people know this, right? And I probably wouldn't say that to other people outside of, like, as nice a group as the D&D people,
Yeah.
because there's no judgment really from I find from D&D people, because everyone seems to just, like, have a shared interest and everyone gets along. Now, with that, I find that when I play D&D and I'm role playing, I don't have that sort of LCD. I don't have it. When I'm Hamish, for example, it doesn't come out. A lot of people think, like, OCD is like this sort of, everything must be clean and things like that, but it's not like that really.
Yeah.
It kind of, you get things going round and round in your head, and but when you're playing Hamish and he's, like, trying to cheer up the party, or he's in a battle or whatever it may be, you don't have it, and it's awesome. And so I would encourage anyone who's got any sort of problem like that, genuinely, and give it a go if you like fantasy.
It's escapism, really. It works.
That's exactly the word. That's exactly the word. And with lockdown as well, you know,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
stuck inside, streaming it. I've probably met more people doing D&D online than I do when we are allowed outside. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got about 5 campaigns going at the moment. I'm only DMing 3, thank God.
Mm.
But I've got 5 campaigns going, and I think from those 5 campaigns, I've got more people that I hang out with and more people that I talk to weekly than I did before lockdown even happened. Because I feel like you still connect with people through D&D, but it's still through comfort. You know, you don't have to get dressed up, you don't go out, it doesn't cost money if you don't want it to. You know, you got Beyond and stuff now that you can roll on. You don't have to buy anything, really. And as long as you have something to connect to the internet to, you can play almost anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember like when my brother, he used to be well into Warhammer and he used to spend so much money on things like that. Don't get me wrong, I love like buying like, you know, little D&D stuff and things like that. There's a little Hamish for you. That's a little Hamish for you right there.
I love
you know.
it. I love it.
I love I love all that stuff, and don't get me wrong, I spend quite a bit of money on D&D, but I remember my brother used to like, as soon as he got his pocket money, he used to run down and get like Warhammer stuff. And but the beauty about D&D is you can do it in a car, like traveling with your friends, and just do it using your brain. I love that about it.
Yeah. And that's me. If you have D&D Beyond app, you can roll on there, so you don't even need a service to roll on. You don't need character sheets because you have everything online, and it's so portable and so easily integrated into almost anything that you're doing. I think that's why it's become one of my favorite games. Is because no matter who you are, what your social circle is, I found that I've always been able to pull people in to D&D, and they've enjoyed some aspect of it and wanted to continue playing.
Just touching on that, what I'm going to jump in and ask you a question, if that's all right. What other games do you like other than D&D then?
God, my child's going to show out. I like Minecraft. I'm not afraid to admit it. I play a lot of Minecraft, usually just to mess around. I mean, I play sort of DayZ, zombie apocalypse, sort of the zombies on Call of Duty. A lot of shooting undead, I find, which I think translates into my games a lot, actually. My campaigns tend to always have one of 2 aspects. Strong deity presence. And
let me make a note of that, because I'm gonna have to make a note of that. I'm gonna have to arm Hamish with something to do to counteract that. If he's gonna wake up tomorrow and a bunch of zombies are gonna turn up at the Adventurers Guild, I'm not, I want to be prepared. So that's good to know.
It tends to be everything I sort of play. I mean, I've always been into horror, so everything I sort of play sort of reflects that sort of horror theme more than anything. I mean, I've played Animal Crossing because my friends loved it, and it's an okay game. It's decent. I just get so bored. It's so slow. I mean, I play on it for 20-30 minutes and I'm fine. Then after that, I'm just like, But you go on to something where you just have zombies and you're just killing these undead evil things. I could play on for hours, absolute hours.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean that's cool. Hey, look, I like zombie stuff too. I'm playing through the Resi 2 remake now, not as we speak, but I'm probably going to jump on Resi 2 after this because I haven't done it yet. I've only just bought it, so.
Fairs.
So that's quite different to D&D, but yeah.
So next question, I suppose then. So what was your inspiration for making Hamish? So we all know Hamish's famous Scottish accent, the little dwarf who likes his alcohol. What was your inspiration behind creating Hamish as a character and any of his major aspects that we've come to know and love about him?
I didn't know he was loved, but that's good to hear. I was worried, like when I made him, that he would be considered a bit tropey and a bit, he's gone for a dwarf that plays the bagpipes and he drinks a lot, and it's kind of like that. But he's not just that. I mean, you as the DM you know that in a way, and there's more to him than that. But when I made him to start with, I wanted to provide to the best of my ability some sort of comic relief from things and a bit of humor into it, which is always, you know,
It's always needed, especially
always
in
fun to do.
serious games.
I think it is, and above all else, I love dwarves. I love playing dwarves. They're just the best. They're the best race in the game. They're just so cool.
So why did you
And
end up going for a bard rather than a rogue then? Because I know Hamish has quite a few rogue-like rogue-like attributes. Specifically
does.
taking the 100 gold pieces and not telling anybody that he has taken the 100 gold pieces and not sharing.
That's true.
So what
There
made you
is
sort of
that.
go for a bard rather than a rogue?
Well, hey, you're right to say Hamish is greedy, and he does. That is his drip. That is what drives him. That
Yeah.
sort of desire for gold and riches. There's more to it than that. I'm not going to give a lot away, but there is more to him than that. Bard. I mean, there's a guitar there. There's a guitar there, and I just thought, yeah, it'd be a good fit to play a bard. I mean, he's a lot like me in that respect because he. Part of his backstory is, he's a traveling bard, has to survive and make his way by playing music around here, there, and everywhere. Pretty much what I do, to be honest. So there's kind of that, and as far as the Scottish accent goes, my grandparents are Scottish, and my granddad has the thickest Scottish accent going. So. I like to think I do a good job, but doing the accent, I try. It's fun to do accents as well, and when I do other characters as well, I'm gonna jump into doing whatever I can. Hopefully I haven't offended any Scottish people by doing a terrible Scottish accent, but I think it fits Hamish quite well.
Yeah,
And
I think it's definitely a Hamish accent.
yeah.
So you do
Yeah.
accents. Like, what other accents do you do? What other accents can you pull out for us?
Oh, I'm going to keep that in the bag. I want that to be a surprise. I'm not going to go through a repertoire right now, unless there's some magic items or gold in it for Hamish.
Well,
wink,
not
wink.
at this point. You guys only level one.
Yeah.
So
And yeah.
I would love to be able to do accents. I suck. I suck at any sort of
I
accent.
think you've thrown in some occasionally, and they come off quite well.
I have 2 accents that I can do. Either very, very Welshy, and that's just hyping up my accent that I already have, or a Russian-esque accent. And I say esque because it's not Russian. It's trying to be, but it's not.
I mean, do you want to throw that out now, or do you want to save that?
I mean, I don't know.
It's alright. Don't worry about it.
It's
Save
not
it. Save it. As soon as that comes out in the campaign, though, I am just going to go. There it is. That's the accent we're after. So I look forward to
I don't know
that.
if you've played Curse of Strahd, but it's the accent that I give in Strahd.
Oh right,
Vampire,
okay, yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, dwarves. I love dwarves, and I guess there's a reason like why they're a fantasy genre staple, because they're awesome. Because they're awesome. So, but I guess the Welsh accent, like you did, that would have worked quite well as well. I mean, Welsh accents are quite common in fantasy genre stuff as well, and that would work well. But yeah, that's it. That's Hamish in a nutshell for the inspiration behind him, anyway.
So we kind of talked about it, or sort of touched about it on that, about similarities between you and Hamish. Most notably, the fact that you both sort of use music and play music in your everyday lives. Do you have any other sort of part of yourself that you've put into Hamish? Any other similarities that you can draw, or anything that you've specifically decided that you were going to keep out of Hamish?
Yeah, I'm not as greedy as Hamish. I don't drink as much as Hamish. I don't. I'm not quite as brash as he has been. I don't have a Scottish accent. There's a lot of things that are not
Yeah.
Not me and Hamish, but in terms of seeing myself in him, obviously there's the music side of things, and I mean a lot of things that um, hasn't really been touched upon yet. I think in the last episode it was kind of touched upon that he he travels alone, and one of the things was he doesn't know who his parents are. Now I do know who my parents are, so it's not that,
Yeah.
but it's the sort of he does have and without giving too much away, he does have a desire to sort of find a group of people that he likes and stick with them, and up until recently he hasn't really found that, and sort of the similarities there with me is I made Hamish in lockdown. I wasn't seeing anyone, working from home, hardly seeing anyone at all.
Yeah.
As everyone's in the same boat, so I put that in there. This sort of he wants to find people in there. I guess I know that's a bit of maybe a bit too somber, but that is in there for what is essentially a jokey character who likes to have fun and puts himself in crazy situations, which I actually do quite a bit in real life. And I wanted to put that little nod in there, but there's a lot of Hamish. There's 50-50, I would say. There's half of me in him, and there's half his own thing. What with
So sort
the
of with
greed.
that, with the extroversion and the comic relief of the character, do you think that sort of Hamish's way of sort of concealing how lonely he's feeling, sort of a way of like a mask that he puts on to save himself?
Essentially, I would say that's pretty accurate. He's kept people at arm's length, and he doesn't trust people. That was definitely seen in the last episode, where he sort of turned on Oberon a bit. Whether that was because of the dagger or that's because Hamish doesn't trust people, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Similarly with the treasure, like he wouldn't give up the dagger because he saw it as a treasure, and he says that he would keep it. He would feel lost without it as he would when he loses any treasure. So yeah, there's
kind
yeah,
of
I mean,
material. He sort of uses material gain as a way to packed down any sort of insecurities. Then
does it? I guess what you're asking me kind of is like, is it filling a void for Hamish then? That
yeah,
sort of,
a little bit.
that
Like
sort of material.
he did know his parents, as you mentioned.
Mhm.
He may not have had that much support when he was growing up. Was sort of material gain sort of his way of supporting himself, either financially or emotionally, and sort of losing that material gain could negatively impact him, or at least he thinks it would negatively impact him.
This is dangerous ground because there's things about him. I mean, we know that he's from Iluka, and we know that he is a traveling dwarf. Why is he not in the Iluka? Why is he traveling around? Why does he want so much gold and money? Why has he kept people at arm's length? These are all questions that there's a lot of questions that will be hopefully answered.
Okay.
It does relate to his past, and let's just say there are sprinklings of vengeance about it as well.
Interesting. Well, I guess you guys who are watching will have to continue watching the campaign to see what happens with that. So, going off the keeping people to arm's length, what's going on between Hamish and Varel? I think we were all thinking this in last episode. They seem to be getting very close. Is this sort of one person that Hamish has really connected with, somebody that he feels like he could get a good bond going, or is there something more?
I'm tempted to say that it's too early to tell because, like I say, he does keep you at arm's length, etc. But
yeah,
he's in that sort of place now. He's been with them for a couple of days. He's with them. Now it's up to viewers to decide whether he's just keeping them all around or keeping them close because of safety in numbers. There's the prospect of treasure. There's all of that sort of stuff. He's even getting free breakfasts now at the Adventurers Guild, which is awesome. But as I've mentioned earlier, he has travelled alone, and deep down he is looking for people he can trust and travel with and be a companion. So whether Vorel is one of those who has ticked that box, time will tell. And whether or is he just using him because he's a big guy who can protect him?
I mean, I hope not, because I'm loving this sort of bromance that's going on. This friendship that I hope is a friendship that's starting to blossom. I think it's super adorable.
We'll see. I mean, I hope it's been really fun to play that the whole spooning thing and the skipping down the sewers and all of that. It was really fun to play that, and long may that continue. But there are things in the background that will be revealed. I would say with Hamish and that sort of thing, enjoy the ride because it's fun, and he it's not without want. I mean, he does. He's not a bad dwarf, and he's not evil. I mean, I hope that's clear already. But he does have his own goals and his own wants and desires, and I guess he just needs the right people to sort of take him in and develop that bond, which for him is very hard to do. Vorel, so far, probably the closest he's been with someone for his life so far.
Okay, so excited to see where that goes. So what's sort of Hamish's thoughts on everything that's happened so far, from meeting these randos on the beach, to now adventuring to places and battling goblins, becoming almost a group at the Adventurers Guild? Put over there for me.
He's probably a bit taken aback by the fighting side of things, because let's not forget that he's kind of, I think you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's been downed in every single battle that he's had so far. I think
so.
I think he's gone down, and he's lucky to have come away with and I guess the first thing with scars and a bit of tinnitus, I think, was one of them as well.
Yes.
And I just had a thought. I know I'm going to have to roll a Constitution saving throw as soon as we start the next session, because he's just woken up from it. So I'm looking forward to that.
Has he?
Yeah, he was downed. I believe Vorel tackled him.
Yes.
And he fell unconscious.
Yes. Did you not roll one for? I'll have to go back and double check. But yeah, you're now waking up in the hotel room. So yeah, you'll probably have to do a saving throw when we get back.
Maybe I shouldn't have said anything and just kept that stum, but never mind.
I rewatch every episode before we play. I need to know what happened in the last episode. I can't remember after a week.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on. In terms of his his thoughts on everything that's happened so far, then I mean, we know he's not really a fighter. He's mentioned briefly before that he's come across goblins and run away. Yeah. But now he's got his companions. He's taken them on and throwing himself into silly situations because there is the prospect of treasure and gold and things like that.
And locking himself to a wall with with Oberon.
Yeah, that on an out of character moment. That was a low point for me, because I genuinely thought they were on the floor and he was doing that.
We're all sat there and you're like, I clicked them and we're all like, did he mishear? Did he not hear the bit about them being on the walls?
Yeah. I thought I was being really, really clever, and then that happened. Anyway, that's part of D&D as well. It's fun and things. Those are the best situations, really.
Yeah, it made for a great moment.
In fact, actually, I think that is the only combat situation where he didn't get downed, and he was chained to a wall. So I don't understand how that happened. Maybe you should do it. Maybe he'll do it more often. Maybe that'll be a thing. Maybe that'll be his new thing. We'll see.
Maybe we'll see what the others think of your new combat tactic.
Yeah.
So,
but he's yeah. Go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say, so you've been with Varel and, well, for now we'll say Kat and Oberon since the very beginning. Unfortunately, Catal ended up leaving to go on some quest for his patron. And in the midst of only having 3 in your party, you came across Willow, this satyr who you found in Eversus, just going around the rubble. What did Hamish think of this strange new character within the party?
He's been very rudely referring to Willow as the goat,
Yeah.
which has taken the rest of the party by surprise, I think, and they go, oh, Hamish, we can't say that. And yeah, he hasn't seen these sort of things before. He has travelled around, but he hasn't seen everything. So this was a new one on him. And I think him and Willow are quite different, because Willow appears to be quite happy-go-lucky, and she was not comfortable down in the sewers and things like that. And I think he's probably thinking safety in numbers, and we'll see what's happening. I mean, I would say as well that he's, this satyr has been out on her own and must have some survival skills, seeing that it was in the middle of a ruined village, and Willow was going through rubble that he came across her. He's thought to himself, okay, that this person might be, or this in his words, that this goat might be useful. So useful for now. I mean, but look, he hasn't developed these bonds yet. It's difficult for him.
Yeah, he's only been one or 2 days with Willow. Hasn't really got
One
a
or 2
chance
days
to know her too much yet.
Yeah, but he did in the sewers, seeing how Varel was looking. He's over the past few days, he was asking about the dagger of Dylos, and he was asking for the dagger.
Yeah.
And Hamish was like, no, I'm not giving it up. And also Oberon was asking about the dagger, so that immediately puts him on the back foot. Whereas Willow hasn't mentioned it, hasn't shown any interest in the dagger at all, and has just been along for the ride. And that is why he's gone, okay, I think I can trust you, Willow, with this. If the dagger is what you think it is, I'm gonna give it to Willow, and he didn't give it to anyone else.
Little
So
does he know.
already, well, yeah, but
He doesn't know
Willow
that yet.
was
It's fine.
no, he doesn't know that yet. But it's Willow must have broken through something to be able to have him go, I'm going to give this to you,
Okay.
not these two.
Well,
Yeah.
it's exciting to see how all these relationships evolve
Mm.
throughout the campaign. But it's time for something that Hamish or Callum did not know about.
Really?
Hot seat questions.
Go for it. All right, hot seat questions.
Hot seat questions. Yeah. So I'm just gonna spitfire some questions out at you about Hamish, and you got to reply as quickly as possible. Are you ready?
Go for it.
So, Hamish's favorite food.
Ale.
Hamish's eye color.
He's blue, bright blue.
Does he believe in a deity?
No.
No. Okay. Hamish's favorite drink.
Ale and whiskey.
Ale or whiskey with little floating ice balls. No.
Yeah.
So, if Hamish had to give up ale or gold.
Ooh. He'd give up ale.
Give up ale.
He'd give up ale because he could drink whiskey instead.
Fair enough. I think that's everything for the hot seat questions.
That was quick.
Hot seat questions. I can't wait
All
for
right.
you to.
Okay.
I can't wait for you to
I-
watch
so
this back.
the
It's
answers
like a little
were-
animation.
Is it the answer? The answers were ale, 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 ale,
Ale.
whiskey.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. So that was. I think that's all my questions. We are doing something at the end of each Tavern Talks where the player gets to ask me, the DM, 3 questions about anything they want in the campaign. Obviously, there's some certain things I will not be saying for obvious reasons, but they get 3 questions. So it's time for DM questions. I love the animations. You're gonna have to watch them back. So
I will. Well,
Hamish.
I'll ask you a question then. Number 1, I'm going to ask you, what tips, as you are, I mean, you're quite an experienced DM, what tips can you give players wanting to DM for the first time?
Okay. So I find this one quite difficult to answer for one simple reason that I started DMing before I ever became a player. So my experience, my experience of D&D has always been from the DM perspective rather than the player's perspective. So I had to learn everything from scratch. So I didn't have any money at the time, so everything I knew came from the limited amount that D&D Beyond gave away for free. But I think, I mean, if you are a player to start with going into the DM, you've already got a great start on there because you already know a lot of the rules, you know, combat and stuff like that, you know, it's quick to pick up. You already have that information available to you as a player. I suppose one of the biggest things that has influenced me and helped me, though, is watching a lot of YouTube videos. You know, watching 4, 5, 6 different DMs, how they DM, their style, sort of homebrew rules they have, how they analyze monsters and their layers and the lore behind it, because that gives you not just your ideas, but that gives you an objective outlook on numerous different ways that can be done. They also bring in ideas that you would never have thought of. You know, you read through the rules and you're like, okay, that's the rules. Watching YouTube videos can give you sort of views on certain rules that you would never have thought of, you know, and how to change them up and how to apply them. So I say probably watching YouTube videos of anything and everything you can get your hands on, because all of that information has been so valuable to my experience as a DM, and I know so many other people whose experiences have basically relied on D&D videos. So yeah, I'd probably say a lot of D&D videos.
That's awesome. That's interesting. I'll just I'll pick you up on a couple of those because you mentioned like knowing the rules and stuff. I'm just going to say that I don't really know all the rules. Like I don't think anyone knows all the rules. No. You know, it's impossible, and that's the beauty of D&D.
To be honest, I know very few of the rules. Even now,
yeah, there we go. But that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, even as streaming, I mean, I was watching Critical Role about half a year ago. So I'd been DMing for a year and a half at this point, and one of the rules came up of, oh, you have advantage on somebody if you are attacking melee and they're on the floor prone and you're within 5 foot, but you get disadvantage if you're further away. That never come up in my game for a year and a half.
I never knew that.
And I mean, I utilised it. I think like the next session afterwards, because I was a warlock, so I would do something. We were across a canyon from someone, so I would do a thing, Eldritch Blast, obviously, and I would end up using half my movement to go down, and I would lay on the floor. Yeah. They're at the other side of the canyon. They would constantly have disadvantage on their attacks against me. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, I've learned so much just from YouTube videos. So, yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's really interesting, and you don't have to know any of the rules to start playing. That's the beauty of it. You can just say, I'm going to sit down and role play, and everyone will help you out. That's the beauty of it. Yeah. And you mentioned critical role there, and this is so rare because I've only ever seen 2 episodes of it. I'm like I love D&D, and I know I'd really like it, but there's like so much to catch up on, and I've seen 2 episodes of it. So I haven't given it a fair crack of the whip yet, but I will at some point. I will watch it.
See,
And
I
to be honest,
binged it last year when
I should have
the
done it during lockdown.
yeah, I
I
did
should
during
have.
lockdown, and I'd finished uni for the summer. I wasn't getting a job because lockdown, and I was going back to uni not long, so I basically sat there just binged it the entire summer.
Yeah, I've only seen 2 episodes. We're going to tell that the presenter Mercer
Yeah.
is he's obviously he's really talented. But I will watch it at some point, like all the way. And yes, okay. Question two.
Question
It's-
two.
question two. We're at question two, which is, what is your favourite moment from the Tiberian campaign so far?
So I mean it's very very early on. I feel like there's gonna be a lot more to come, and I don't really feel like a lot has actually happened so far. But I mean it's got to be the time that you change yourself to the wall. And it it was the fact that it was just so unintentional, and you were just so oblivious to it.
All right. All right.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But
Thanks.
it
No.
made it made for such a funny element of that session, and yeah, I don't know, it was just so funny. And
That's
to
interesting,
and to
'cause
see
that-
the way you guys handled that of, oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's only 2 of them, let's bring them to them. Oh, there's 5, shit, okay.
Yeah.
You go forward, you shoot around, and I will stay here and hide.
Yeah, we used Vorl as like a rock, just like to wedge him in
Yeah.
the corridor, and he was just swinging away, keeping him at bay, while me and Oberon were just there like, I don't know what to do, we're chained to the wall. It was quite funny, but that's interesting because that's not a character moment. That's just me as Callum being stupid. So
But
that's
you guys,
interesting.
You guys played it off and made it into a character moment.
Yeah,
Which
but
is
that's
what I
yeah.
think it's just, I mean, thinking back, that's kind of, I mean, other than that, I suppose another really nice moment was probably the 2 old people, when you guys went up to see the old people, because
Yeah.
there was such a split in I don't trust them and food.
Yeah, that was a fun role player moment because
Yeah.
obviously me as Callum could tell, all right, something's not right here. But I was thinking, right, Hamish is just going to eat. He just wants the food. You keep describing about how delicious it is, so I had to go down that route.
Fun fact: that soup is a real life recipe that I used, and it is gorgeous. It is delicious. It's my auntie's.
I'm gonna have to rewatch.
You are. I'll send you the recipe, but it's my auntie's homemade recipe. And, oh, it's so good. It is gorgeous. If I make soup, that's what I make.
Amazing. All right, yes, please do. But there was also a somber moment there as well, like when they were around the grave and like Hamish, instead of, we didn't joke around or do anything. He was serious and he played the bagpipes, like a somber tune on the bagpipes.
Yeah.
Bagpipes. And so it's just something to know about Hamish as well. He's not a joker all the time, so it's like. But yeah, no, I'm glad you picked that moment. Doesn't make me look stupid at all. Thanks.
I'm sorry. Do stupid stuff because it's stick in people's minds. Like it was.
Hey, if it's entertaining, then that's fine. It's good. I have fun. I have fun every time. So, question number 3.
Number 3.
What can viewers expect in future episodes without spoilers?
Whew, okay. If anybody is familiar with AD&D first edition, probably a couple of the modules leading up, there's going to be a return of I want to say a fan favorite, because everyone, he's just great. Well, he sucks, but he's great. There's going to be a return of an official D&D monster coming back, which I'm very, very excited about. Yeah, I'm looking at it. There's 3 story arcs going on at the moment.
Where's my pen? Right. Go on.
So, I suppose, yeah, you could probably assume a lot of twists are going to happen. Maybe 1 or 2 guest appearances, particularly
Oh.
if you guys end up going to a specific area. There is the people from my old campaign. I'm going to be living with one of them next year, and I may ask her to come on, do guest appearance if you guys end up going to the place that they settled down in. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Oh, so it's the same. You've taken Tiberian for
Yep.
that. Oh, that's amazing.
it was
No, that's really good.
It was a test campaign, and you guys are playing about 15 years after the end of their campaign.
Ooh.
And you will probably see, I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, but one of the players in this campaign's backstory relates to one of the old players' story.
Wow.
So yeah, everything is very, very interconnected. There is a book, and I think there is a medical treatment as well in the world that was designed and created by one of the players from the old campaign, which you guys can also find in the world. So and as I said when you guys first started, you guys are so connected with the world that whatever happens in this campaign will go on to influence the next campaign as well, regardless of whether you guys are playing in there or not. This world I've been building for a year and a bit, this is just going to take aspects of every campaign that's run in there, and it's just going to keep them, and it's going to build on it, and it's going to build the lore.
That's amazing. No, that's really cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you left nuggets of things from
Yeah.
That's really good. I look forward to finding them, and I try my best.
Unfortunately, you guys started
well-
in the one place that they didn't ever go to, down in Isaac.
Hey, well, we got it. We're different,
Yeah.
and
I'm very excited.
I mean, it's the beauty of playing with different players and stuff. You get to
Absolutely.
experience all these things. No, roles permitting, I'll find out what you're what you've alluded to there. Can I ask you a bonus question?
Go on then.
Am I allowed to ask you a bonus question? Right.
Go on then. I mean, it's the first episode. Why not?
Yeah, sure. So, would you rather get on a bus driven by an owlbear,
Okay.
or be the only human, other than the driver,
Right.
on a bus with 8 owlbear passengers? Do you need me to repeat that?
No, it's alright. The bus is driven by an owlbear.
And why is that?
Because I have a chance of survival. I can fight off maybe one owlbear. 8 other owlbears? Nah, we're fucked.
Have you ever seen an owlbear drive a bus, or
It won't
Can you
be
imagine
driving
what
it.
that would
It's
be
fine.
like?
It's fine. It won't be driving.
Oh, it's driving it. All right, okay. No, that's fair. I think I agree. I'm not sure.
Okay, so that
All right.
was that DM questions, little animation things.
All that stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have no more questions. And
It's been a pleasure.
yeah. So thank you for joining me on the first episode of Tavern Talks. It was not exactly how we wanted it to go, but hopefully internet will hopefully be sorted by Tuesday. So yeah, thank you for joining
It's all
me.
good.
Thank you for having
Anytime.
a chat about your character and everything. Don't forget, guys, that we do have a Twitter, so at Goblins Hollow LS. We have an Instagram, which is Goblins Hollow YT. And follow to get notified when we go live. Maybe consider subscribing because everything helps. And yeah, we will see you on Tuesday for episode 5 of Tiberian Campaign.
Oh, you can find me at Seeley D&D on Twitter.
Go follow. Goodbye, guys.